June 16th, 2026, and we have two slight risks issued today by the Storm Prediction Center, one in eastern to central Iowa and one in southern Michigan and northern Indiana and extreme northwestern Ohio. All threats of severe weather are on the table for today. A large 2% risk for the tropics down here on the Gulf Coast into southern Georgia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate wind risks, and this and the hail risk has 5, with two 15% being issued. And tomorrow we will have a potential severe weather outbreak with a moderate risk for Peoria, Springfield, Champaign, Kankakee, Lafayette in the area for severe weather tomorrow. We also have an enhanced risk for Chicago, Davenport, Columbia, St. Louis, Effingham, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and South Bend. And then from Rochester through Des Moines, through Kansas City, down to Joplin, Louisville, Columbus, Detroit, and Milwaukee all have a slight risk tomorrow. And then Minneapolis to Enid in Oklahoma, towards Cape Girardeau, Huntington, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Eau Claire, all have marginal risk, which is a 1 out of 5. And then we have marginal down here for New Orleans and areas east of Houston, Texas. And tomorrow we have a 15% SIG2, which means there's a chance of EF3 plus tornadoes in this circle right here, which would be Peoria, Kankakee, Lafayette, Champaign, and Springfield, and Bloomington, and areas just south of Chicago. And the wind risk is just expanded, and it's mainly just those areas, but areas near Columbia, St. Louis, Effingham, Indy, Toledo, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Chicago, Davenport, Kansas City, and Marshall are in the wind risk for tomorrow, which will be June 17th, 2026. And then Davenport, Dixon, Ottawa, Streeter, Chillicothe, Peoria, Keokuk, Burlington will all be in the bullseye for the max hail threat. And then as we go to Thursday, we have a large slight risk for New York City, Huntington, Nashville, Louisville, Maysville, Somerset, Baltimore, and then all the way from central Maine towards Lubbock and Abilene, Texas, and New Orleans could see some severe weather. And then things after that go down in the chances for severe weather. We do have a chance in Omaha, North Platte, Kearney, and Kansas City on Saturday for severe weather. That might bring more severe weather over here and then eventually to this area. We will look at the models in 1 second. So we will be looking at the HRRR 14Z run, and this is we'll be looking up here, over here, and down here for the main tornado and weather threats for today. So let's go model. I'll keep those circles there. Go severe weather. First we'll focus on this circle. So it will remain mainly clear. I think this weather already happened today. Then we can go and look at the Chicago, Grand Rapids, Lansing, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, South Bend area. And there's a round of storms before, and then the storms really start firing around 5 p.m. around here. And then all the storms are going to form over Lake Michigan, which is right here. And I would expect this area right here to be the main tornado threat. Right here, these cells right here could do something. Yeah. And then we can move down here, which we have already had some tornadoes over here today. I don't think they've been bad, but there's been some rotation over there. So down here, we have also a 2% tornado risk. And it's just messy rain over here. And there's going to be some flooding. Actually, we can, after we look at the radar, we can go and look at the total rain counts. So it's just going to be scattered showers, and if you can see the spin right here, there's a possible tropical depression forming in this area that could go like this eventually, and all of this rain will just be staying here for the next couple days. We also could have some scattered storms in Florida today. And then tomorrow, we're looking, this is the main area for tornadoes tomorrow. So we'll have some morning showers that could be rotating. These black things means rotating updrafts. So we could have one here, one here, one here, and one here. I think these storms will not produce tornadoes as much as the second wave. Like here has a chance to. But this run is now showing a discrete supercell over Des Moines at like 3 p.m. Eastern, so that would be 2 p.m. Central. And then at 5 is when the discrete cells are going to be in full play. We might also have one down here in Indianapolis. And then the dry line that all the storms will be forming on is right here, as you can see right here. if any of these cells can stay discrete down here, like this one or any of these down here, they could be a problem. So that is 6, and then it looks like we're going to have some discrete cells down here at 8, and then we'll still have a line of storms here. But the main line of storms will be here at 8 p.m. And then they will go as a line of storms until Columbus or Dayton. And there will just be some strong thunderstorms up here approaching Detroit. And then severe weather returns on Thursday with this right here. And then Friday we could see something down here in Atlanta. Or, like, I would expect the severe threat to be right here on Friday, with some tornado threat, but mostly wind and hail. Alright, let's now look at the significant tornado parameter for the next 4 days. So today, around 5 o'clock, something around the Indiana-Michigan border, it's just like 1.21. And then over here on the Outer Banks, over here, just like less than 1. And then there's some over here, and their number's up to 2.3 in Kansas today. But I do not think there's going to be storms there, and I would be correct. And then tomorrow, this is around 1, which is right as the storms are right here. So the storms right here would have a 2. If any storms are over here on the near Keokuk, could have a 3. And then they just fire. Like over east of Bloomington could have 5 or 6. Anything above a 6 or a 7 could have a violent tornado. And there's numbers over here around 6. There's some 7s over here for these storms. And then they just stay elevated until like the next morning. And then West Virginia could see some tornadoes on Thursday. So could Southern Connecticut and Long Island. And then on Friday, down here in the southeast, could see an elevated tornado risk in southern Georgia, just south of Macon. And instability will be high too. So this is today. just not insane instability, but tomorrow at 5 p.m., this is the dry line right here. It doesn't look like there's going to be storms up near Chicago anymore. So I would expect the moderate risk to be dropped down to the south. And then on Thursday, some scattered mid-Cape, and then there's going to be a low pressure system down here in Texas that's going to bring everything up. And this is high Cape right here. And then Friday in deep south is very unstable, but we'll get better like model runs before Friday, and I'll make another video tomorrow. We do have some Cape up in Atlanta near Fulton County with scattered numbers from 1 to 2,000. Tropics are waking up. We have a possible tropical depression or a tropical storm forming in the Gulf of America to the east of Texas near like Corpus Christi and Brownsville. It's projected to be a tropical storm by like Thursday. And there's a 60% chance in it on the 2-day. It would be this one right here. One, it would be Tropical Storm Arthur. And then there's some in the Pacific disturbance with 10% low for 7-day and 2-day. Anything in the Western Pacific? Nope. But yeah, the tropics are waking up, so we'll have to be covering that. And it would be over the Gulf for a little bit, and then it would go in through Lake Charles, like the coast near Lake Charles. So yeah, and I'll keep you posted on that in further videos. For the tropical depression that is forming will cause extreme rainfall for most of the deep south or the southern plains and most of the Dixie Alley too. And we have 3 straight moderate risks and then 2 slight risks for excessive rainfall. So today, moderate risk is from Corpus Christi, Houston, Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Natchez, Alexandria. The slight risk is areas around that, including Monroe, Jackson, Philadelphia, Birmingham, Montgomery, Atlanta, New Orleans, Mobile. And then the green risk is San Antonio, Austin, Shreveport, Birmingham, Athens, and Jacksonville, and Lake City over here. And then tomorrow, it will be this like the same area as down here. And then on Thursday, it moves towards the north for Birmingham, Baton Rouge, Alexandria, Philadelphia, Meridian, Hattiesburg, Columbus, Montgomery, and then Atlanta, Nashville, New Orleans, Dallas, Cape Girardeau, Paducah will all be in the slight risk. And then areas like Oklahoma City, Fort Worth, Charlotte, Pittsburgh, Louisville will all be in the green risk. And then for today, there's another green risk near Port St. Lucie, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. Tomorrow is the same area, but with slight risk over Springfield, Kansas City, Columbia, St. Louis, Chicago, Milwaukee, Dubuque, Davenport, Cedar Rapids, Detroit, and then around that is in the green. And then up in the northeast, New England will get some rain on Thursday, and then we have a slight risk from Del Rio to like Johnson City in Tennessee. And then on Saturday, we have a slight risk in Sioux Falls, Sioux City, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, Worthington, Omaha, Kansas City, Topeka, Salina, and Jefferson City, I think. Yeah. All right. Also remember to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Beanie Severe Weather Network. We just started this, and our second ever live stream on this channel will be tomorrow, Wednesday, June 17th, when the storms start to fire in our tornado outbreak area. Thanks for tuning in to today's video, and we will have another video tomorrow before our live stream.